think I'm in the middle of something. There's really no need to...
Getting a perfect 10 out of 10 on IMDb is basically a miracle these days. I mean, with thousands of people voting online, someone is always gonna find something to complain about. For years, everybody pointed at Breaking Bad's Ozymandias as the absolute, undisputed king of television. But today, I actually want to talk about a different episode. One that took 6 entire years of slow burn storytelling and just blew it all up inside a tiny apartment. Let's talk about Better Call Saul, Season 6, Episode 7, Plan&Execution. If you think about it, for over 5 seasons, this show gave us 2 completely separate universes playing out at the exact same time. On one side, we had Jimmy and his colorful, fast-talking lawyer scams. On the other side, there was the cartel stuff with Mike, Gus, and eventually Lalo, which was pure stressful life or death drama. The writers were super careful to keep these worlds apart for years, but this specific episode is the exact terrifying moment those 2 tracks finally collide. Let's just start with the title, Plan&Execution, because Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould don't do anything by accident. It has this really twisted double meaning. The first half obviously points to Jimmy and Kim. They spent the entire first half of the season cooking up this incredibly elaborate scheme to just destroy Howard Hamlin's reputation. They drugged him, hired actors, gaslighted the entire legal community. It was crazy. When we finally see the Sandpiper meditation play out, it genuinely feels like watching a slick heist movie. Everything clicks into place perfectly. Howard completely loses his mind in that conference room, and Jimmy and Kim get their win. But sitting there, watching it, you can't help but feel kinda gross. Jimmy and Kim essentially became the villains of their own show. They ruined a guy whose biggest crime was basically just being a bit of an arrogant jerk. But while Jimmy and Kim are playing these elaborate mind games, the episode keeps shifting to something way darker. Lalo Salamanca is literally living in a sewer. He's watching Gus's laundromat playing a completely different, much deadlier game. This contrast right here is exactly what makes you anxious. Jimmy and Kim are chilling on their couch, drinking wine, listening to the meditation call like they are absolute masterminds controlling the universe. Meanwhile, we know there is a literal psychopath roaming around the same city. They are playing this petty legal game, completely blind to the fact that a shark is swimming right toward them. Which brings us to those final 10 minutes. Howard shows up at their apartment with a bottle of Macallan. Honestly, if the episode just ended right after his speech, we would still probably call it a masterpiece. He just tore them apart. He strips away all the fun and excitement of their con. He looks them dead in the eye and say they did it just for the thrill, because there's a piece missing from their souls. He calls them out as addicts who lost touch with basic empathy. As a viewer, you are so completely sucked into this heavy drama. The show tricks you into thinking the stakes are just about Howard's bruised ego and Jimmy's guilt. And then the candle flickers. It happens so quietly you almost miss it. Just a tiny shift in the air. The camera pans over and Lalo just walks through the front door. He's totally relaxed, flashing that charming, terrifying smile. The craziest part of the scene is how confused Howard is. He thinks Lalo is just some rude guy who walked into the wrong apartment. He asks,
Who are you?
and Lalo casually replies,
Me? Nobody.
I just need to talk to my lawyers.
Howard tries to politely excuse himself, treating the whole thing like a minor social inconvenience. He has absolutely no clue, he just stepped into a war zone. But look at Jimmy and Kim, the color just drops from their faces. The two smartest people in the room, the ones who controlled every single detail for 6 episodes, suddenly realize they have zero control. Their perfect little scam accidentally pulled an innocent guy right into a cartel execution. It all happens incredibly fast. There's no dramatic music swell, no long villain speech. Lalo just casually screws a silencer onto his gun and pulls the trigger. That final shot is what makes this perfect television. The camera just lingers on Howard's body. Blood pooling on the floor while Jimmy and Kim scream in the background. The show basically took everything we loved, the funny cons, the clever tricks, and showed the brutal consequences right in our faces. It violently punishes Jimmy and Kim for their arrogance. They really thought they could mess around with the criminal underworld for a quick thrill and then retreat back to their safe, cozy life. Plan&Execution proves that once you open that door, you can never really close it again. This hour of television somehow manages to blend comedy, legal drama and pure horror without a single misstep. It messes with your expectation, but looking back, the ending feels absolutely inevitable. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you thought of that final scene down in the comments. Hit subscribe and I'll catch you in the next one.